If that is what defines you and that is more important than this one, then you should go somewhere else, because I wouldn't want to work beside you. I want to know that when we go overseas, that you've got me back and not in a sailor's kind of way.
I am out here for you. You don't know what it's like to be me out here for you.
We choose truth over facts.
Never go for retard.
Come on, man.
Quadruple clap. How we going, team? It's Kaz from In the Trenches with Kaz, and I'm here to give you some morale. At last, the woke brigade has been reduced in some manner by common sense. And how unusual is it that it actually came from a politician saving the military, Army, Air Force, Navy, from its own leadership? A politician doing the saving. Peter Dutton. Thank you very much. Out with Maurice Payne, out with the identity politics, Miss Reynolds as well, gone, swiped left. And here we are with a former police officer who's loyal to the country rather than identity politics. I've got some questions for you, and they're going to start popping up. What's this about, Kaz? Well, let's play the video first.
Defence Minister Peter Dutton has banned all dress-up events at Defence to stop his department from pursuing a woke agenda. Military personnel had been advised to wear rainbow clothing at a to mark the International Day against homophobia,
part Dr. Phil, part Koshy,
and transphobia.
But all business. The new sheriff's in town.
Secretary stop events with particular clothes in celebration. He's vowing to shake up his department and refocus on its core mission.
The tea party's over. There you go, team. So what are we going to be talking about? Bam. Not special, but different. Do we have a problem with the LGBT community being within the army? No, we don't. But we do have a problem with them defining themselves as LGBT instead of being Australian soldier. Males, female soldiers. What we're seeing is a rift of politics that has crept in, and the feminists are quiet.
How dare you!
Because it's going their way. Women only signing on for half the time of a male soldier, but the feminists are quiet. And having programs to allow people that are not prepared physically to be able to meet quota.
How dare you!
And allowed in. This woke brigade has to stop, and it needs to stop now. And we're going to talk about that today. What does it add to capability, the LGBT community within the army? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Because we're not about sexuality.
So you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
You're not allowed to touch each other in bliss. You're allowed to fight. You're allowed to wrestle. But it can't be sexual. That's called fraternisation. So why do I need to know what your sexuality is? That you prefer to put something near someone's butt? That you don't identify what a one-way street means? It doesn't mean anything to me. I don't care. Happy to serve beside you. I am. I have served with Australian soldiers who served fantastically in an infantry battalion, and no dramas whatsoever came their way. We're not scared of them. We're happy to serve with them. Let us know who you are, which way you bat, so we know to be respectful to you. But other than that, there'll never be a pronoun other than what your rank is. Soldier, private, lance corporal, recruit, sergeant, sir. Don't care. But it offers no capability. It does offer division. And it's something that those that will never wear a uniform other than a school one will come and try to grab their claws and put it in there and try to make the military subordinate to political identity groups. And we can't afford to have that. Army, Air Force, Navy, there should be no more marching in pride marches. There's nothing to be proud of. I'm not proud of loving girls with big boobs, brown eyes, and big butts. That doesn't define me. Does a father define me? A little bit. Does being Australian define me? Absolutely. Does being a veteran define me? A little bit. But my sexuality does not come into that, and nor should it come into yours. So don't let it do it. What did the people say when Peter Dutton stepped in and said, Mr. Angus Campbell, step back. No more tea parties. What are you doing? You're making us look like a laughing stock, and it's happening to all of the Western armies too that are falling for this political bullshit. Why would you want to go from the chief of the Defence Force, the very pinnacle, you cannot get higher, and instead of thinking maybe I'll become a Governor General one day, okay, because I've done a great job, and protect my legacy and keep my moral courage, something that the soldier that gives physical courage expects from you, the only thing we expect from you, leadership.
Imagine a king who fights his own battles. Wouldn't that be a sight?
And in turn, you're ready to swap all of that, all of the time spent to potentially be a politician? That's a step back. That's a step down. Except in this time where Peter Dutton has come forward and saved our ass. What did the people say about it? Here we go. Bam. With China breaking down, breathing down your back, you better get prepared and not play tea parties. The Australian Army is to prepare for the worst day, whether it be domestically or abroad. Never forget that. If we look like we are veering off track and our priorities are pleasing those of identity politics, wokeness, and any other identity group, then we're not doing our job. And if you can't do your job, if you're misrepresentation, if you've lost faith in the soldiers and that's causing a loss of morale, and for soldiers to walk out the door swiping right to anything other than their commitment to the job that they thought was going to be their career for 40 years, their dream role, then you should lose your job because we've lost faith in you. And that's simple. That's mathematics right there. What else? Bam. Supposed to be a Defence Force department, not a political sackle involved. Echoing exactly what I was talking about. Team, we are not allowed to be political in the military. As a matter of fact, we are there as an extension of political failure. When the glass gets broken, step out. Our sexuality has never come into it. Ever. And you won't be judged on it. Unless you make it an issue. We're not allowed to go on Facebook. We're not allowed to go on Instagram. We're not allowed to represent ourselves and give you transparency into what we do to make you more proud of those that represent you, domestic or abroad, regardless of role. And what is the role? The Australian Army infantry is to seek out and close the enemy, to kill or capture him, to seize and hold ground, to repel attack by day or night, regardless of season, weather or terrain. And none of that mentions sexuality. None of it. Leave it out of it. Don't identify it. Let someone come in and be embraced by their new family as a soldier, regardless of gender, regardless of sexuality. And then you can be proud of that, because at the end of the day, what you should be proud of is one of two flags. One of them is wrong, one of them is right. That one, I would say, is wrong. If that is what defines you and that is more important than this one, then you should go somewhere else, because I wouldn't want to work beside you. I want to know that when we go overseas, that you've got me back and not in a sailor's kind of way. Someone's going to make some sort of montage of me on Instagram with this in the background now. It is a beautiful flag. But guys, gals, I'm happy to go and fight with the Indigenous flag and the Australian flag. But at the end of the day, we're Australians. All Australians. Stop dividing each other. Peter Dutton, you've done a bloody great job. I'm proud of you. And I just wish I was still serving, because I tell you what, with you at the helm, those that wish us harm in the future, and there is some we're not allowed to really mention on here because that's anti-woke as well, I feel a little bit more confident with you there. Mr. Campbell, step back. Don't go woke. The tea party's over and there's a new sheriff in town. That's Kaz from In the Trenches. LGBT, you are more than welcome to join the military, but don't bring your flag with you. It ain't welcome. See you later. That's Kaz from In the Trenches, out to you. Pleasure to serve you. I don't need any thanks, but you should subscribe and like a channel. It's not afraid to tell you the way it is. What defines me? Belief, moral courage, what we stand for, and the Australian way. Let's make Australia great again. See you later.
They say you can't be killed.
I wouldn't be bothering with the shield then, would I?
A Thessalonian you're fighting. He's the biggest man I've ever seen. I wouldn't want to fight him.
That's why no one will remember your name.